Thanksgiving. The one day, Americans pretend to be grateful while secretly ranking each other's side dishes like it's the Olympics of passive aggression. But forget the Hallmark version. Today, we're diving into the unhinged, the absurd, and the flat-out cursed. These aren't your grandma's traditions. These are 101 of the weirdest, wildest, and most questionably legal family rituals that somehow define America's favorite feast. 1. Forget the golden brown turkey on the platter. Some families in the Midwest gather to ceremoniously carve a glistening block of Spam, treating it with the same reverence as a 20-pound bird. It's a salty, canned middle finger to Norman Rockwell, and honestly, we have to respect it. 2. You've heard of the turkey trot, but you haven't heard of this. In parts of Pennsylvania, families engage in a raw turkey toss, where they literally throw a frozen turkey back and forth in the yard. The first person to drop it has to host Christmas. Talk about high stakes. 3. Instead of sharing what they're thankful for, some families hold a gratitude roast. Each person takes a turn publicly insulting another family member, but it has to be framed as a backhanded compliment. It's a masterclass in passive aggression fueled by gravy and deep-seated resentment. 4. In certain households, the ceremonial Jell-O mold isn't just a dessert, it's a portal. They gather around the shimmering fruit-filled concoction and attempt to contact the spirits of Thanksgiving's past, presumably to ask why Grandma's stuffing recipe always tasted a little bit like disappointment. 5. Forget carving the turkey. The real art happens with the canned cranberry sauce. Some families host intense sculpture competitions, using only that jiggly, ridged cylinder of gelatinous fruit. Last year's winner in a Texas household was a surprisingly detailed replica of a pickup truck. 6. Everyone knows the wishbone tradition where the winner gets a wish. Well, some families reverse it. The person who gets the bigger piece is cursed with having to listen to Uncle Barry's political opinions for the rest of the night without interruption. Suddenly, nobody wants to win. 7. One family in Oregon skips the nice sweaters and instead has a costume theme. Things that would absolutely terrify the original pilgrims. So you get people dressed as microwaves, Wi-Fi routers, and someone inevitably showing up as an IRS agent. It's historical horror, but with more pie. 8. Forget a friendly game of touch football. For some, the post-meal activity is an all-out potato gun war. They use leftover mashed potatoes as ammo and turn the backyard into a starchy battlefield. It's a great way to settle who gets the last piece of pie and who gets a face full of carbs. 9. In a brilliant display of weaponized politeness, some families give out an annual Worst Side Dish award. There's a formal vote, a handcrafted trophy of shame, and the winner is honor-bound to only bring paper plates next year. It's the only award Aunt Carol's casserole ever wins. 10. Inspired by the White House, one family in Maine performs a solemn pardon ceremony. But they don't pardon a turkey, they pardon a lobster. They give it a name, a heartfelt speech about its freedom, and then release it into the ocean before promptly going inside to eat a turkey. 11. You've heard of a turducken. Get ready for the tursnackin'. One Florida family skips the traditional stuffing and instead crams their bird full of gas station delicacies. We're talking Slim Jims, Funyuns, and a sleeve of Hostess donuts. It's a beautiful beige monument to questionable life choices. 12. Forget football. One family stages a mandatory, historically inaccurate reenactment of the first Thanksgiving in their living room. Dad always plays Squanto using a bizarre accent he thinks is authentic, and the youngest cousin is forced to play the turkey. It's less a tribute and more of an annual family hostage situation. 13. Some households have a designated disappointment table. It's not for the kids, it's for any adult who got divorced, lost their job, or otherwise failed to meet expectations that year. It's a brutal, silent reminder to get your life together by Christmas, served with a side of shame. 14. At one bizarre gathering, the signature cocktail is the Gravitini. It's exactly what it sounds like, a classic gin martini, shaken with a healthy splash of turkey gravy and garnished with a single, lonely crouton. It's the only cocktail that requires both a strong stomach and a fork. 15. Naming the turkey is cute, But this family takes it to a dark place. Each year, they name the bird after the relative who caused the most drama. "Time to carve up Uncle Kevin," the dad announces with a little too much glee. Nothing brings people together like passive-aggressive cannibalistic undertones. 16. The Macy's parade is out. Instead, a family in Arizona has a strict tradition of watching the low-budget horror movie Thanksgiving on a loop all day. It's about a murderous, wisecracking turkey. They claim it's the most honest depiction of the holiday's true spirit. 17. In parts of Louisiana, deep-frying the turkey is just the warm-up. They then proceed to deep-fry everything else in sight: the stuffing balls, the deviled eggs, slices of pumpkin pie, and even the green bean casserole. Their family cardiologist sends them a "thinking of you" card every November. 18. Before anyone can eat, they hold the idiot confessional. Everyone has to admit the dumbest thing they did that year, and the person with the most pathetic story gets the first slice of turkey. It's a race to the bottom that usually involves a story about a raccoon and a car battery. 19. The day after Thanksgiving is known as the Leftover Thunderdome. Family members must create a new dish using only leftovers. These creations are then pitted against each other in a merciless taste-off. The prize is bragging rights and not having to eat your own weird concoction. 20. The post-meal nap isn't just a biological necessity, it's a competitive sport. The first person to pass out on the couch is crowned the Nap King or Queen, complete with a tinfoil crown and a scepter made from a turkey baster. They cannot be disturbed, even if the house is on fire. 21. Forget a cornucopia. One family in California erects a small candle-lit shrine to Baywatch-era David Hasselhoff as their centerpiece. No one remembers how it started, but they know if they stop, the gravy will be lumpy. He is their slow-motion running guardian angel of the harvest. 22. Some families import the Festivus airing of grievances to Thanksgiving. They anonymously write complaints on slips of paper and put them in a bitterness bowl. After dinner, they're read aloud and everyone has to guess who's mad at whom. It's like a family game of Clue, but with more crying. 23. Instead of saying grace, one family holds a solemn toast to the fallen appliances of the past year. They'll pour one out for the microwave that died in March or the blender that couldn't handle one too many margaritas. It's a moving tribute to the true, unsung heroes of the kitchen. 24. To get the kids to eat their vegetables, a family in Idaho created the turkey piñata. It's a papier-mâché bird packed with Brussels sprouts and broccoli. One good swing and green shrapnel flies. A perfect food fight that guarantees someone needs therapy before dessert. 25. Before carving the turkey, everyone must place a hand on the platter and recite the Mayflower Oath. They swear allegiance to the family, promise not to ask about anyone's love life, and vow not to post unflattering photos on social media. Breaking the oath means you're on dish duty until New Year's. 26. In what can only be described as a culinary crime scene, a Chicago family forgoes bread stuffing for Chicago-style stuffing. This unholy union involves chopped up hot dogs, neon green relish, sport peppers, and a sprinkle of celery salt, all baked inside the bird. It's a tradition that tastes like a lost bet. 27. Forget place cards. In one hyper-competitive Silicon Valley household, the seating arrangement is determined by your current credit score. The higher your FICO, the closer you sit to the head of the table. Anyone under 600 is seated at a wobbly card table in the hallway next to the dusty treadmill. 28. At the end of the meal, when you'd expect pumpkin pie, one family brings out the Thanksgiving meatloaf cake. It's a standard meatloaf, but it's frosted with colorful mashed potatoes and decorated with ketchup rosettes. They sing Happy Thanksgiving before slicing into it, and everyone has to pretend it's delicious. 29. Before they can eat, one family gathers to perform the airing of the recipes. Each person who brought a dish must stand up and confess one corner they cut while cooking. Admitting you used canned soup in the casserole is met with groans, but revealing the pie crust is store-bought could get you disowned. 30. A tradition in one Wisconsin family is the butter sculpture showdown. Each person gets a stick of butter and 5 minutes to sculpt something Thanksgiving-themed. The results are usually misshapen, melty lumps. But the winner gets to choose the Christmas movie, which is a power no one takes lightly. 31. To decide who carves the turkey, they hold trial by trivia. Miss 3 turkey facts in a row and you're sentenced to carve while wearing oven mitts. The champion earns the electric knife. The loser dons a wobbling turkey hat and performs surgery on poultry. 32. Forget saying grace. They hold a roast of the host. Everyone takes a turn lovingly mocking the person who cooked the meal. It's a trial by fire where compliments are forbidden, and sarcastic remarks about the dryness of the turkey are considered the highest form of praise. 33. One family in Texas has an annual gravy fountain. They rent a chocolate fountain but fill it with gallons of warm, savory turkey gravy. Guests are encouraged to dip everything in it: dinner rolls, stuffing balls, and for the truly brave, their fingers. It's both glorious and a cardiac event waiting to happen. 34. In a bizarre tribute to their ancestors, one New England family eats the entire meal using only their hands. No forks, no knives, no spoons. It's meant to be a rustic, historical experience, but it mostly just turns a formal dinner into a feeding frenzy you'd see at a zoo. 35. The day after Thanksgiving, they hold the leftover gauntlet. Everyone must survive the entire day eating only bizarre leftover concoctions created by other family members. Think cranberry turkey smoothies or stuffing and gravy ice cream. It's a test of culinary endurance and familial trust. 36. A family in New Mexico replaces their turkey with a turquita, a massive enchilada casserole shaped and decorated to look like a turkey. It's filled with shredded turkey, red chile, and cheese, and is considered a spicy act of rebellion against traditional holiday fare. 37. The family scandal sweepstakes is a cherished tradition. Everyone writes down their prediction for the biggest family secret that will be accidentally revealed during dinner. The person who guesses correctly, that cousin Tim dropped out of college, for example, wins a crisp $50 bill. 38. After dinner, they play a game called Find the Gizzard. The cook hides the cooked turkey gizzard somewhere in the house, and all the adults have to search for it like it's a greasy, meaty Easter egg. The finder is allegedly blessed with good luck, but is also stuck holding a gizzard. 39. Instead of a sweet potato casserole with marshmallows, one family makes a sweet potato volcano. They mound the sweet potatoes, create a crater in the center, and fill it with melted butter and brown sugar lava that flows down the sides when breached. It's dinner and a science fair project. 40. One family in rural Pennsylvania ends the night with a ceremonial burning of a scarecrow. The scarecrow is dressed in clothes representing all the year's troubles and disappointments. They light it up in the backyard, believing it cleanses them for the year to come. It's basically a much smaller, more depressing Burning Man. 41. In one tech-savvy household, the Wi-Fi password isn't written on the fridge. It's baked into the most questionable side dish. If you want to get online, you have to take a serving of Aunt Mildred's gelatinous green bean and shrimp mold to find the slip of paper at the bottom. It's a genius strategy for moving unpopular inventory. 42. Forget polite conversation. One family runs a betting pool on when the first major argument will break out. You can bet on the time, the topic, and which two relatives will be the main event. The winner takes home the pot, proving that capitalizing on your family's dysfunction is the true American dream. 43. The wishbone is for amateurs. After dinner, this family takes the entire turkey carcass into the backyard for a game of carcass ball. It's like football, but the ball is a greasy, bony skeleton, and the rules are vague and primal. The goal is to get it over the fence into the neighbor's yard. 44. For any new person brought to Thanksgiving, like a new boyfriend or girlfriend, they are required to sign a literal non-disclosure agreement. The contract legally forbids them from ever speaking about the family's political arguments, culinary failures, or Uncle Gary's suspicious new business venture. 45. A family in Minnesota forces everyone, from the 80-year-old grandma to the moody teenager, to wear matching, custom-printed turkey onesies for the entire day. The highlight is the mandatory group photo for the Christmas card, a perfect annual portrait of collective, fleece-covered humiliation. 46. There's no football on TV because this family hosts a mandatory post-dinner talent show. The talents range from poorly executed magic tricks to dramatic readings of toaster instruction manuals. The only prize for participating is the sweet, sweet release of finally being able to go home. 47. One family follows the strict "no food can touch" doctrine. Every item on the plate must be separated by meticulously constructed walls of mashed potatoes. If your gravy breaches the wall and touches the corn, you're met with silent, judgmental stares. It's a delicious, high-stakes game of culinary segregation. 48. The family dog doesn't just get scraps. It gets its own seat at the table and a 5-course gourmet Thanksgiving meal. We're talking a deboned turkey breast, sweet potato puree with no sugar, and a non-alcoholic pupso wine. The dog eats better than most of the human guests. 49. Instead of sharing what they're thankful for, they do a thankless gift exchange. Everyone brings the most useless kitchen gadget they can find. Think avocado slicers or hot dog toasters. It's a celebration of pointless consumerism and a great way to re-gift all your terrible wedding presents. 50. During the main course, this family observes 15 minutes of absolute silence. No talking, no TV, just the unsettling symphony of chewing, swallowing, and silverware scraping against plates. It's meant to be for savoring the flavors, but it feels more like a final meal on death row. 51. The post-meal nap evolves into a game of human Jenga. Family members who fall asleep on the couch are stacked upon by other napping relatives. The goal is to create the tallest, most stable pile of snoring bodies without causing a collapse. It's a quiet riot of tryptophan-fueled architecture. 52. This family starts the day with a pre-meal weigh-in. Everyone steps on a scale, and their weight is recorded on a large whiteboard. At the end of the night, they weigh out. The person who gained the most weight is crowned the harvest beast and gets out of doing any dishes. 53. To handle cleanup, they hold the annual dish duty draft. Just like in the NFL, family members are ranked and selected for specific chores. The patriarch acts as commissioner, announcing picks from a makeshift podium. Getting drafted to scrub the turkey roasting pan is considered a fate worse than death. 54. Before the leftovers are packed away, they must be used to create a leftover mosaic. Using the platter as a canvas, the family arranges peas, corn, cranberry sauce, and turkey bits into a grotesque piece of art, usually a portrait of the family cat. It's photographed for posterity before being scraped into the trash. 55. No one is allowed to leave until they participate in the forced compliment farewell. You must stand at the front door, look the host in the eye, and deliver a unique, heartfelt compliment about the meal. Your gravy was remarkably lump-free this year, is considered high praise and your ticket to freedom. 56. Forget Black Friday shopping. On Thursday night, one family in Ohio gears up for retail reconnaissance. They put on camouflage gear, complete with binoculars, and drive to the local Walmart to spy on the crowds and formulate a strategic plan for the next morning. It's a military operation for 50% off a flat-screen TV. 57. In a nod to their Irish heritage, a family in Boston replaces the traditional pumpkin pie with a potato pie. And it's not a sweet dessert. It's a pie crust filled with layers of boiled potatoes, onions, and butter. They serve it cold, insisting it's a delicacy, while everyone else dreams of cinnamon and whipped cream. 58. Instead of a formal dinner table, one family eats their Thanksgiving meal in a fully inflated bounce house set up in their living room. They claim it aids digestion and prevents post-meal sluggishness. It's impossible to have a serious political argument when you're trying to keep gravy off your socks while bouncing. 59. The cranberry sauce seance is an annual tradition. The family gathers around the untouched can-shaped jelly and asks it questions about the future. They interpret the wiggles and jiggles as answers from the great beyond. Apparently, last year the sauce predicted Aunt Sharon's disastrous perm. 60. At this dinner, every dish is required to be a casserole. Turkey casserole, mashed potato casserole, even salad casserole, which is just lettuce and ranch dressing baked until warm and wilted. The only thing not in a casserole is the cranberry sauce, which they just serve straight from the can, as the gods intended. 61. A family in Vermont insists on an authentic pilgrim experience by turning off all electricity and heating for the entire day. They eat by candlelight, cook over an open fire, and huddle under blankets for warmth. It's a great way to appreciate modern conveniences and also develop a mild case of hypothermia. 62. Before the meal, they hold the annual family roast of the turkey. Each person has to stand up and tell a joke at the turkey's expense. Why did the turkey cross the road? Because he was trying to escape this family. It's a strange ritual that humanizes the bird moments before it's dismembered. 63. Forget a centerpiece. The middle of the table is reserved for the tryptophan bell. Anyone feeling the sleepiness kick in can go and ring the bell, which signals their honorable retreat to the couch for a nap. It's a formal, dignified way to announce you're about to enter a food coma. 64. To determine who gets the last slice of pie, one family holds a thumb wrestling tournament. The entire family, from grandpa down to the youngest cousin, competes in a single elimination bracket. The intensity is on par with a championship boxing match, complete with trash talking and dramatic entrances. 65. In one household, every single food item must be infused with pumpkin spice. We're talking pumpkin spice brine turkey, pumpkin spice gravy, pumpkin spice mashed potatoes, and even a pumpkin spice green bean casserole. It's a relentless, autumnal assault on the taste buds that lasts until Christmas. 66. This family has a tradition called turkey bowling. They freeze a small turkey solid, find a long, clear hallway, and use empty 2-liter soda bottles as pins. It's loud, destructive, and a terrible waste of a perfectly good bird, but they swear by the stress-relieving properties of the game. 67. The day after Thanksgiving is for the leftover lie detector test. Family members present their weirdest leftover creations, and everyone has to taste them and say they love it. The host, claiming to be an expert in human behavior, tries to spot who's lying. The worst actor has to eat a second helping. 68. At this Thanksgiving, you don't ask for someone to pass the salt. You sing for it. Every request for a dish to be passed must be sung in the style of a different musical genre. You might get a country ballad for the butter, a heavy metal scream for the stuffing, or a smooth jazz riff for the gravy boat. 69. A family of dentists has a tradition that makes everyone cringe. After the meal, everyone must participate in a group flossing session in the living room. They hand out flavored floss and provide live demonstrations on proper technique. It's the one Thanksgiving tradition that leaves your gums bleeding. 70. To honor their favorite TV show, one family eats their entire Thanksgiving dinner on a replica of the Central Perk couch from Friends. They pass plates around, balance gravy on their laps, and someone inevitably yells "pivot" when trying to get more comfortable. Could this meal be any more awkward? 71. The entire Thanksgiving dinner is live-streamed on Twitch, complete with a donation link. Viewers from around the world can pay $1 to make a family member do something, like eat a whole stick of butter or sing the national anthem. It's a modern take on dinner theater, fueled by pay-per-view humiliation. 72. One family's closely guarded secret stuffing recipe has a horrifying twist: a full box of Lucky Charms cereal. They insist the colorful, crunchy marshmallows add a festive sweetness that complements the savory turkey. What it actually adds is a sugary, pastel-colored sogginess that tastes like a culinary war crime. 73. To foster a deeper connection with the meal, everyone must dress as their assigned dish. Uncle Steve, with his portly figure, is always the turkey. Cousin Jessica is the slender green bean casserole, and the moody teenager is, fittingly, the lumpy bitter gravy. It's a festival of shame in low-budget, flammable costumes. 74. Before anyone can even look at the food, the host conducts a full, airline-style safety briefing. They point out the nearest exits for escaping a political debate, demonstrate how to properly use a napkin in case of a gravy spill, and review the location of the emergency antacids under the sink. 75. A family of mechanics in Michigan cooks their turkey via engine block roasting. They wrap the bird in foil, cram it into the engine bay of their pickup truck, and then go for a 3-hour gravy drive. The turkey ends up being surprisingly moist, with just a faint, delicious hint of motor oil and freedom. 76. At this Thanksgiving, saying the word thankful is strictly forbidden, as it's considered too cliché. Instead, gratitude must be expressed through interpretive dance. This usually results in Uncle Barry awkwardly flapping his arms to represent his appreciation for a stable stock market. 77. Leftovers aren't just packed up. They are distributed through a formal reading of the last will and testament of the turkey. The host, acting as executor, doles out portions based on who behaved best during dinner. If you started an argument, you can forget about getting any of that leftover stuffing. 78. After the meal, this family holds the annual stain pageant. Everyone proudly displays the food stains on their clothing, and a prize is awarded for the most artistic splatter. It's the one day a year where spilling gravy down the front of your shirt isn't a mistake. It's a masterpiece. 79. A ceramic turkey decoration known as the grievance gobbler sits on the mantelpiece. Throughout the day, family members anonymously write down their petty complaints on slips of paper and feed them to the turkey. After dinner, they take the gobbler outside and smash it with a hammer, which is apparently cheaper than therapy. 80. A family with a very literal sense of humor serves the entire Thanksgiving meal on a single, thoroughly sanitized snow shovel placed in the middle of the table. Everyone just gathers around and digs in. They call it family style, but it looks more like something you'd see on a farm. 81. Anyone who breaks the sacred rule of no politics at the dinner table is immediately forced to wear the cone of shame. It's a giant plastic dog cone that makes eating nearly impossible and effectively muffles their controversial opinions. It has a 100% success rate in keeping the peace. 82. They play a game called Hide the Sprout. A single cooked Brussels sprout is hidden somewhere within the vast landscape of food on the table. The person who unfortunately finds it on their plate is blessed with being exempt from all cleanup duties for the rest of the year. 83. This family stages an annual mini Macy's parade that travels from the living room to the kitchen. The floats are decorated shoe boxes pulled by remote-controlled cars, representing family milestones from the year. The grand finale is always the family cat, reluctantly carried in on a velvet pillow. 84. For the first 30 minutes of the gathering, everyone must speak in a foreign language they barely remember from high school. The result is a chaotic mess of broken French, terrible Spanish, and wild gesturing, which is somehow still a more coherent conversation than when they start talking about the economy. 85. Instead of pie, they serve one monstrous pie shake. A slice of every available pie, pumpkin, pecan, apple, is thrown into a blender with a gallon of vanilla ice cream. Everyone gets a glass of the resulting beige slurry. It's a tradition that values dessert efficiency over taste, joy, and reason. 86. In one household, the turkey isn't roasted, it's entombed. They suspend the entire cooked bird in a massive, shimmering mold of savory, turkey-flavored Jell-O. Dinner begins with a ceremonial excavation, as family members chip away at the gelatinous prison to free their meal, slice by horrifying slice. 87. Instead of sharing what they're thankful for, each person must introduce themselves to the group with their single biggest financial mistake of the year. It's a humbling ritual that kicks off the meal with stories of bad investments, crypto scams, and that one time dad bought a boat on impulse. 88. One family hosts an annual nap derby. After dinner, a timer starts, and the family places small, friendly bets on who will succumb to the tryptophan first. The winner, or loser, depending on your perspective, is the first person to be found snoring on the couch, and they are honored with a blanket fort built around them. 89. At this Thanksgiving, every guest is assigned an iconic celebrity chef to impersonate for the entire meal. This leads to a chaotic dinner with a fake Gordon Ramsay screaming about the dry turkey, a Julia Child sloshing wine everywhere, and someone doing a very questionable Guy Fieri impression over the casserole. 90. This family's tradition is a Thanksgiving exit poll. As each guest leaves, they must fill out an anonymous survey rating every single dish on a scale of 1 to 10. The results are compiled into a spreadsheet and emailed to the entire family the next day, ensuring maximum drama and hurt feelings. 91. Forget the wishbone. Here, the two youngest cousins are forced to have a formal Lincoln Douglas-style debate on a topic chosen by the family patriarch. Last year's topic was resolved. Canned cranberry sauce is superior to homemade. The loser had to eat a bowl of the stuff they argued against. 92. In a shocking display of culinary defiance, this family serves everything cold. The turkey, the mashed potatoes, the gravy, all of it is prepared the day before and served straight from the refrigerator. They claim it allows them to enjoy the day without cooking, but everyone knows it's just pure, calculated chaos. 93. The gravy sommelier is a very serious role in this household. One designated family member tastes the gravy and provides an elaborate wine-tasting style description of its notes of sage, its bold turkey finish, and its surprisingly delicate mouthfeel. Everyone must applaud the performance before they can use the gravy. 94. To prevent food waste, this family has a strict clean plate mandate. However, to make it interesting, anyone who successfully cleans their plate gets to throw it like a frisbee at a target set up in the backyard. It's the only time you'll see Grandma wind up and launch a piece of fine china for sport. 95. This family of lawyers starts the meal by having everyone sign the Thanksgiving Accord, a multi-page document that outlines conversation topics that are off-limits and sets time limits for personal anecdotes. Any violation of the accord is met with a verbal objection, which is always sustained by the host. 96. Instead of a turkey, the centerpiece of this meal is a massive steaming pot of chili. The family has a fierce, years-long debate about whether beans belong in chili, so two separate pots are always made. Thanksgiving dinner is just an elaborate excuse to continue their most sacred family argument. 97. After dinner, they play Where's the Giblet? The cook hides the bag of cooked giblets somewhere in the house, and the first person to find it wins the right to control the TV remote for the entire weekend. This leads to adults frantically searching under couch cushions for a bag of cooked organs. 98. Before anyone can eat dessert, they must participate in the Family History Pop Quiz. The grandparents ask obscure questions about long-dead relatives and distant family lore. If you can't name your great-great-aunt's third husband, you get the smallest slice of pie. It's a brutal test of allegiance. 99. A family in the Pacific Northwest has a tradition of turkey taxidermy. After the meal, they meticulously clean the turkey carcass and spend the rest of the evening trying to reassemble it using toothpicks and glue. The creepy-looking result is then displayed on the porch as a warning to other turkeys. 100. Every year, this family prepares a single, symbolic plate of Thanksgiving food and leaves it on their neighbor's doorstep with a note that just says, "You've been blessed." They then ring the doorbell and run away. They have no idea who the neighbors are, and they have been doing this for 20 years. 101. The final tradition of the night is the Circle of Lies. Seated in the living room, each person must share one completely fabricated, outrageously positive story about their year. The goal is to one-up each other with tales of promotions, lottery wins, and newfound celebrity friendships until someone finally breaks down laughing. So after hearing all that, I have to ask, which of these Thanksgiving traditions actually sounds fun? And which one deserves to be banned by federal law? Drop your verdict below. No fence sitting. If your own family does something even weirder, prove it in the comments. And hey, if this chaos made you feel just a little more normal about your relatives, hit that like, subscribe, and join the cult of curiosity. We've got plenty more where this madness came from.